Still trying to really get himself ready. The good left hand, good combination again by Morrison. Left and right behind it.
Since the loss to Mercer in October of 1991, he was fighting more and more often.
Tommy Morrison, as a fighter, at this point is more dedicated, more disciplined than he's ever been. He's certainly on the road.
Morrison had landed 4 knockout victories in 1992, and just 6 weeks after his last win, Morrison was poised to meet his toughest test of the year in Hipp.
Tommy Morrison's opponent today is Joe Hipp.
Joe the Boss Hipp, a fringe contender and a member of the Blackfoot tribe, was a rough, tough heavyweight and the type of guy you didn't want to meet in an unfriendly bar.
Now, Joe Hipp has lost 20 pounds in the last 8 months, and this is going to be the lightest that he's ever fought as a professional.
After piecing together a 3-fight win streak, Hipp, like Morrison, was staring at his toughest test since tasting defeat.
Joe Hipp is not going to be a twinkle toes out there.
You're referring to Yuri Volin, who he fought back in April of 1991. That was actually on the...
What happened when he hit him? He just explodes when he lands.
Oh, another jab lands by Morrison.
It might work for him at the lower levels of boxing. Well, not at the top. There's the hook.
A good sweeping left hook. Tommy Morrison did tire badly in the Mercer fight, although you get the impression that it wasn't so much from lack of conditioning.
I think also that Ray Mercer started to punch back in that 4th round, and I think those punches might have had more effect on Tommy than Tommy's admitted.
It's Tommy Morrison on the left of your screen, circling to the top.
And another nice jab from Morrison. I mean,
Early on, Morrison was landing the cleaner punches and outclassed Hipp with his hand speed and crisp combinations.
Fell into a right to the body there. He came inside with a, which he hasn't done much of. Somebody's worked very hard to get Tommy. That's all part of the way that Tommy Morrison has reacted to the loss. I mean, you learn from it, you get better. Good left and a right downstairs by Morrison.
We want to remind our local ABC stations that at the end of this round, we're going to take a station break.
See Joe trying to counter.
A sweeping
backing
move
up, giving ground.
You know, that move by Morrison, Alex, took him off balance, and Hipp was too slow to...
A feint there, kind of an awkward feint, but you saw one good thing. There's a good sign. Tommy Morrison had his right up to pick off the...
word from our ABC stations.
Whoa!
4th round here in Reno, Nevada. I'm Dan Deerdorf along with Alex Swallow. We're ringside. Tommy Morrison, who's on the left of your screen, and Joe Hipp to the right.
He's coming forward very, very slowly, but he is coming forward, whether that's just Tommy Morrison wanting to draw him onto his punch. And now you have to have questions about Tommy Morrison's step. He's hurt!
Another left hand by Hipp.
Morrison, measured and under control, was now eating more and more leather, particularly a long right jab from an opponent who was now moving laterally.
Power puncher, Dan. He's really kind of an arm puncher.
Oh, great uppercut by Morrison.
And the first one we've seen.
Oh, and a right to the chin puts Joe Hipp down.
Morrison put Hipp down in the 5th with a vicious right uppercut, straight right combination.
Right to the chin by Morrison.
From a man who's supposed to be a
right hand by Hipp, Alex.
From somebody who's supposed to be a left hooker. He's using his right hand better than we've seen. He's busted up in the mouth.
Yep, Hipp bleeding from the mouth. Oh, and Tommy Morrison, a double right hand. And Joe Hipp better protect himself.
If he's got enough left, he looked tired in the 4th. Another half hook, half uppercut with the right hand by Tommy Morrison.
By hanging on. And Tommy Morrison, a double right hand. You see Hipp look over at Dracula.
But the durable Joe somehow survived and got back into the fight.
Looking to let his tank fill up a little bit.
A great deal from the mouth, and Alex and I were both talking to each other during that commercial break about the admiration we have for Joe Hipp. He
past this point in round 6, he was knocked out, but he's never scored once, and he is clearly... another left hand from Joe Hipp.
Boy, that one was right there. Oh, and another good combination, and a retaliation by Morrison. At least stemmed that flow of blood from his mouth. There's a good right hand by Morrison, but here we come to the end of round number 6.
With the bout advancing into rounds 7 and 8, Morrison was breathing heavily with his mouth wide open.
It was devastating.
And really a thing of beauty, just a natural hook. Good right hand there.
A good right hand counter by Morrison. With Joe Hipp being the stalker. Now certainly Tommy Morrison, we're not implying that this Joe was born, grew up in Yakima, Washington, lives now outside Seattle, and he is on the verge of possibly doing something that 10-1 underdog in this fight against Tommy Morrison.
I think the final price was 11-1. He is a very live underdog.
Yeah, corner of Tommy Morrison, there's John Brown.
With just 30 seconds remaining in the ninth, Morrison reached down deep and fired a blistering right uppercut.
You can't fight with your mouth open. Oh, a good right hand by Morrison, and that hurts Joe Hipp. Joe Hipp is in trouble. Joe Hipp is down. A right hand from Tommy Morrison staggers Joe Hipp. He's up at 8, and that's the end of the fight. Vic Draculin stops the fight. And Tommy Morrison summons the power today, and it saves him in the 9th round.
Right in the 2nd round, I broke my jaw and I hurt my right hand in the 4th round. One of the reasons I moved around and managed the jab. So we learned 2 things today, and that's face adversity, to be able to overcome it, and also we got some rounds that we needed to learn to keep our mouths shut.
After win over 2-time former world title challenger Carl Williams, Morrison found himself fighting for the world championship again, this time against George Foreman.
To put it mildly, they went slow. Foreman lands a good punch.
Morrison upset many critics by outpointing Foreman over 12 rounds, winning the world title.